Alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, humanity. Today we are still on the topic of health because we have an obligation to keep mankind and human beings aware of their duty to good health. That can only be achieved by human beings if they do adhere to the divine holy prescriptions of divine holy laws that were laid down by Allah, the most holy glorified Allah, for human beings to be able to live in peace and harmony within their bodies, because each of you as individuals, your bodies, you are responsible as an individual to your own body. If you were to become ill, you'll be sent to you end up in a hospital. If you're in a hospital, not Fiona or whatever will be there, it will be you. So with that, we do have an obligation to keep drumming the drum that to reduce the number of cases in hospitals who acquire new diseases, new cancers, day after day. I have an obligation, a universal obligation, to warn human beings that my people, my creations, human beings, do not engage in confrontations with the religion from which we are created. And that most holy, beautiful religion is Islam, which is clearly interpreted in your normal daily lives by the surrounding of where you are. For instance, trees. Trees do produce foods on which men and women feed. But if you are to understand the divine holy interpretation of a tree, a stem of a tree, and its canopy and fruits, all these are directly and very clearly shows that Islam is the most holy, beautiful religion. Why a tree grows on a single stem, it spreads its canopy with plentiful leaves, and with that, with plenty of leaves, it also bears fruits, sometimes flowers, and then fruits. With that, it only does that or do that obligation or contribution to human beings as to display and glorify Allah, the most holy glorified Allah, to say Islam is the most holy, beautiful religion from which I, as a tree, I produce this so many, countless glorification of Allah. I mean, practically living letters of the name Allah. In the middle of the leaf, there is a signature like letter A. But practically, any leaf of a tree, it's a practical living ashahad, which is Allahu Akbar. Ashahad la ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, Allah Alpha and Omega, Ashahad la ilaha illallah, continuously. So it will be out of whatever for human beings to think that they are fighting the religion of Islam, because if you are to examine what sustains human beings, what they eat, most of it, I think, comes from what you call trees or plants. And now, most of the plants on this planet, whether it's small, what you look at as a grass, a leaf of a grass, is practically a living letter A in the shape it looks. If you have any knowledge, I think at present time, not so many people have not had the beauty of looking at how a letter A looks like. Most people should know how a letter A looks like when you write it. So if you are to use a single, you ask Allah to guide you, and you look at a leaf, and we say a leaf of a grass is a practical living letter A. A leaf of a tree is practically a living letter A. It has a sharp edge, which looks like a letter A, and with that there's a middle, whatever. In that middle of it, there's a signature letter like A continuously. So that it tells you practically a leaf a leaf of any tree is a glorification of the most holy glorified Almighty Allah. How beautiful it is to be that I, as a living tree, I stand and I say Islam is the most holy, beautiful religion in which or from which every fruit that I produce, every leaf that I produce is to glorify Allah and say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, Alpha and Omega, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Continuously, whether you human beings do glorify Allah or not, only His plans can do enough glorification of the beauty of the name Allah and the beauty of the divine holy oath as shahadas, that men, you are outnumbered, if I'm not mistaken. If you are 10 of you and we are asked to count how many leaves are on in a canopy of a single tree, I think many of you will live, 10 of you might leave that tree kind of somehow, if you're not in a kind of a confused state, you might acquire a certain disease which kind of depicts someone who is mentally ill. Because of anyone who challenges the beauty and the glory of the Ashahad, the beauty of a holy divine oath, in which Allah says, "O creation, glorify my name, because with it I command that every tree bears a leaf, and that leaf says, Allahu Akbar, 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 Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah." Continuously, 24 hours a day, while men are sleeping, even when they are sleeping. So with that, it will be a duty to remind you human beings that it is important that you recognize your relationship or your contributions to Mother Nature, so that Mother Nature can say, oh, maybe these kids, these human beings need to be kind of understand that without trees, I think any part of the world, for instance, the Sahara, or what you call the Sahara Desert, is recognized that a desert, there are no trees. You examine, check your dictionary, what a desert means. So with that, my people, you are all Muslims living on planet Earth. It does not make sense that Allah sprays the whole mountain, hillside with a green color of Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. He continues miles after miles. And then men say, oh, I'm a Pentecost pastor. You ask him, are you a pastor? What does the word pastor mean? He might collapse and say, oh, maybe he doesn't know. So that way, my people, you are all living Muslims. This is whatever gang lifestyle that you are kind of wallowing, and you made this gang a Pentecost of whatever, the other one is that one is that. These are all gang whatever style, whatever, which may cause disease, because any deviation, any sort of deviation from the divine holy directives and prescription of what Allah decreed as men should live by on this planet, if you deviate in any way, Allah created human beings, but He also created disease. Allah created human beings, but He also created disease. Disease is what puts men in order. If you men kind of trump over the boundaries, they say, oh, I put my foot in the grave. I say, oh, the disease, they say, oh, you put your foot in the grave. We rotate around you like a whirlwind. We check which door in your body you've left open for disease to pull you. If one leg is in the grave or in the sinkhole, we make sure the other two is also thrown into the sinkhole, and you are completely obliterated by disease or destroyed by disease because you are disobeying holy divine laws of the most holy glorified Almighty Allah, because Allah created disease as an army to put it to make men do not go over the boundaries. If you do, we as a disease, we always rotate like a whirlwind at any given time around your body, whether you like it or not. You can only recognize that you've caught a disease if you are either sick. Or what? You are running to get to the hospital. So with that, my people, I just want to remind you, when I say you are all living Muslims living on planet Earth, the disease is also a part of a community member who live on planet Earth, whereby Allah said, mankind, human beings, follow these rules, follow these divine rules, follow these divine regulations and directives in order to avoid getting in conflict with my army of disease, because none of you can win any of my armies. They're very well equipped in destroying men who put their one foot in the grave or in the sinkhole. If you say, because in the sinkhole, there are nowhere you can say, oh, no, I hold here and pull myself out of the sinkhole. No. Once your foot is there, it will just pull you until all the other foot, and it will bring with you all your so-called gang members. With that, be warned, human beings. We are not warned. Be warned, because the sun in the sky is saying the same thing. Mankind, put your houses in order. Mother planet Earth is saying the same thing. Human being, put your houses in order. Do not provoke the anger of the most holy glorified Allah. Do not go out of your way and provoke the anger of the most holy glorified Allah. Your own body says the same. Because men, in what you call modern times, they say, we are fighting disease, but they kind of engineer some more disease. They go in laboratories and say, we are fighting disease, but we also use disease to fight disease. No. You are in a kind of unconscious state of mind, whereby many of you think we are manufacturing weapons in order to fight who? To fight a fellow human beings, or what was there in Second World War? Did many men die, or many men overjoyed because they had every factory industry was producing weapons? Wasn't it so? So now, when you say, we are fighting, we are looking for disease, I tell you what. Many of you have ever seen a whirlwind. A whirlwind is when the wind kind of makes a rotating circle. In that, there's a very special interpretation, divine holy interpretation. It says, at any given time, diseases rotating around the living human beings are doing that as you see that whirlwind. When that happens, one by one of those diseases enters your body through the air you breathe, and they check it. Which area, which door is open, so that this man who disobeys Allah's law, who prefer to say we live by our way of life. If your way of life, you did not know that it leaves some doors open for disease, the disease will say, oh, this door is open. Come. They enter, and once they enter, that's when you say we are kind of searching for medicine. And many, whatever you call pharmaceutical agencies, they throw their cards on the table and say, we have a cure. We have whatever. No. They are there to kind of play their cards. If you continue to go out of your head, the pharmaceutical agencies will say, you dance our dance, you become one of our slaves. Huh? A slave, you are already a slave to disease because you said your way of life tells you that you should consume many champagne. I remember there was a man who was the prime minister of Italy. He used to drink a lot of champagne. A prime minister, can you imagine, he has all the money in the world. But he died of, I think, a blood cancer. Why? He has a lot of money to say to the blood, oh, don't kill me because I have a lot of money. I can easily drink many champagnes. But because he broke, he breached a holy divine law. He went against a holy divine law which says, do not consume alcohol. Even though you are prime minister, alcohol doesn't know you are a prime minister. It knows that you're a man who is out of your head. A man fighting your own whatever by saying you can drink as many champagne as you can. No, you cannot do that because when we created you, your body does not have the mechanisms or the know-how to remove this dirty, toxin gunk of alcohol from your body. Each champagne bottle you put in your body, it circulates in every joint, in every muscle tissue of your body. And once it does that, your red and white blood cell can easily mutate and cause you a leukemia. I think a blood cancer which killed Berlusconi. I'm talking from records either written by magazines and documented in Europe and all over the world. Not from fake or whatever, made up stories, no. I'm trying to show you the reality of a true religion and this holy interpretation of the holy sacred verses of the Holy Quran, why you should adhere to the holy divine laws that governs every human body on this planet. You as an individual, you are responsible for your own body. If Berlusconi wasn't responsible, he drank a lot of champagne. A lot of champagne meant that he poisoned his own blood system. The same way you would do if you disobey any of the holy divine laws. You put one foot in the grave or in the sinkhole. The sinkhole has a very, very powerful magnetic, whatever it pulls. And there's no way you can hold and say, I'm not for going into the sinkhole while you are continuing to drink champagne and cognac and John Walker. And you say, that is our way of life. Yes. The sinkhole has a whatever you call a sign saying, if you are to disobey any of Allah's holy divine laws, there is no way you can hold on and say, I did agree that I found out I can easily walk and hold here and get out of the sinkhole. Once your foot is in the one foot in the grave, is an English saying, the other foot can easily be kind of pulled. I'm just saying what is the reality. No, I'm not adding any kind of, they call it sweetening. It's very clean, clear language. Domestic, natural language, Mother Nature. Records printed in newspapers by men who think that their records cannot be kind of used as evidence. Yes, I can bring evidence after evidence of what humans have been up to in the last 11 centuries. Anyway, remember, my people, you are responsible for your heart to be in good health, for your brain to be in good health, and every part of your body. Not to say, I know I have a doctor, a third-party sleepless gambler, who kind of I pay to check whether my blood is well, my head is well. No, he can only look at you as a man who is responsible, throwing your responsibility away as an executive director of your own body to someone who is a gambler, a sleepless gambler. If you were to ask that sleepless gambler, how many units of blood is in the tip of your small finger? You say, that is, I cannot say. And if you ask him, are you really a doctor or a gambler? He will say, I am a doctor, if you believe so. Remember, you are responsible for your own health, not Mr. not Dr. Trevor Smith. He's not a doctor. He's a gambler who puts a stake and say, how many fools walk onto my patch and say, we are seeking advice on, can we stop drinking or we continue? And governments struggle with new diseases which they crop up every other hour because of alcohol misuse. Diseases that outstrip the taxes collected from alcohol that is sold in those countries, and the chancellors of the exchequer and the treasury or over the whatever are finding it very difficult to cope with the new diseases, cancers. Because what I did not talk about is that anybody who puts alcohol in their body, the chances of developing or making their red and white cell mutating into cancer cell, the chances are 99%, because once you consume alcohol, a red and white blood cell electrical spasm is killed. So that red and white blood cell is disabled. Time after time, it keeps trying to resuscitate itself. When it does that, in the process of trying a red and white blood cell, trying to resuscitate, to recover its whatever, it takes a wrong direction and it takes on what we call a cancer cell, whatever, because it's the original electrospasm, which is the heart and the brain of a red and white blood cell, was killed. So once it tries to resuscitate itself, an alcohol contaminated whatever says, yeah, this is it. So it mutates into a cancer cell, which develops and contacts other cells, and they form a tumor. They form tumors in your body. So with that, my people, be warned. You are a people who are not warned. This is a new year. And especially young men of tomorrow, young men who have entered this year, 2025, be aware that life is, you're responsible for your own health, not a third-party scriptless gambler. They will split your chest if you say, I am a Christian. Christians are allowed to drink as many alcohol as you can, 25 bottles of champagne every weekend. Yes, you drink them, I'll throw you on an ICU trolley and take you into the theater, split your chest, and then open it up, and then put your heart in kind of a temporary, carry out a temporary procedure to kind of put your heart in a certain order so that you are fighting for your life, and then say, we did what we did, but it's a temporary thing. It will generate pain here and there. You will never be able even to run as fast as whatever. So who is at loss? The one who looks after his heart by saying, no alcohol whatsoever, no third-party scrupulous gamblers whatsoever. I'll follow the holy divine laws that governs men and human beings and all other creatures. Who is better, on a better course to a well-being, good health? Is it the one who take on a policy of a third-party scrupulous gambler, or the one who says, I'll follow the divine holy directives and prescriptions as they are laid down by the most holy glorified Allah, who created the tree that produces fruits? And that tree says Islam. By its name it says Islam, and the canopy says Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. There are fruits everywhere. It says Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Islam is the most holy, beautiful religion from which me as an apple tree, I'm able to produce succulent, crunchy, very, very tasty apples. You can take it to America, you eat it, I will remain an apple. You can take it to Australia, I'll be an apple. If you adhere to the most holy, beautiful religion of Islam and recognize the beauty of Islam, you eat me and you spare your face with sparkle with that interpretation of Islam itself on your face, saying that, look at me as a human being. I'm a Muslim, very radiant, very beautiful. I'm a girl in my prime years. Would you like to dance, or would you like to know why am I so beautiful? It's because of Islam. The smile on my face, he says, Islam is the most holy, beautiful religion. Are we on the same page? Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.